To Jim's point, it's interesting that Nvidia is down pre-market. China says it is investigating the chip maker over possible violations of the country's anti-monopoly law. The nation's antitrust regulator adds the company suspected of violating commitments that it made during its 2020 acquisition of Mellanox. The probe comes in the wake of U.S. actions aimed, of course, at restricting chip sales in China.
Yeah, they should have thought of that before. I mean, Mellanox was a deal that everyone just said, look, we're going to give it an incredible amount of scrutiny, and they did that. This is not like the Google contract to Apple in order to be able to keep us at the default, David. Now, you know that it could be, you can't have this kind of remorse years later and think you're going to have an impact. What do you think? You know CFIUS. What can they do to tie it against us? What is their? They can't break up a deal.
I'm saying CFIUS is here.
No, I'm saying
sorry. What are you talking about?
We block deals, but once the deals go through, we tend not to reopen them. That
is typically the case.
I think that was also. I thought that was also the way of China. Once they've approved something, give it a hard look.
I don't know enough, nor do I think many know enough about the Chinese antitrust regulatory apparatus to make assumptions.
You mean you make it sound like it's in flux?
I think it's difficult to know, and it will be even more difficult to discern.
But what can they do? Why would you sell the stock?
We do get into another more heated trade war with.
Okay,
with China.
Look, the stock was going down 3 on Friday. I would tell you somebody obviously had this because there was nothing else going on. But what can you do? Why would you sell Nvidia on this? They're going to kick them out for the hobbled. Remember I told you they have a hobbled chip that goes to them?
Yes.
What are they going to do?
All right, so you think it's much ado about nothing?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I do.
Okay.
I think it's much ado about nothing. Look, the people who are selling it now in this market, they want to make themselves look right. They'll sell it down to 138 so they can say, hey, I took Cramer doesn't know anything. Like I matter.
In an intriguing turn of events that's sure to set the stock market abuzz, the U.S. Supreme Court has made a decisive move involving Nvidia Corp, one of the leading chip makers in the world, unveiling a scenario that pivots on high-stakes financial drama and technological shifts. Nvidia finds itself at the center of a securities fraud lawsuit brought on by Swedish investment firm Ohman J, or Fonder AB. While the legal tussle gains momentum, the crux of the matter lies in Nvidia's association with the tumultuous world of cryptocurrency sales. The Supreme Court dismissed Nvidia's appeal concerning a lower court ruling, breathing life back into a class action from 2018. Amidst the din of legal arguments and market speculation, what does this mean for an industry titan like Nvidia and its investors? Let's delve into the details to understand the impact of this landmark decision. Welcome back, everyone, to Investocracy.
Hey there, Carl. We had a Supreme Court decision this morning on Nvidia. Now, the Supreme Court is saying it's not going to take up a case involving a shareholder lawsuit against Nvidia. They say that was improvidently granted initially by the Supreme Court, meaning basically, oops, we're sorry, we shouldn't have taken up this case in the first place. So what that means is that the lower court ruling involving Nvidia will stand. The lower court allowed a shareholder lawsuit against Nvidia to proceed. So presumably that will now proceed apace. All of this is about an initial shareholder lawsuit against Nvidia, suggesting that Nvidia did not properly disclose how much exposure it had to crypto mining as opposed to gaming in terms of use of its chips. The idea here is that crypto mining is a much more volatile segment than gaming, and if they didn't disclose properly how much people were using chips for crypto mining, that might have given investors a bad feel for how volatile potentially the earnings would be back in 2018. So this case now suggesting that that lawsuit can go forward also has some impact potentially for other publicly traded companies that are deciding how much nuance to share in their disclosures as they file with the SEC. How much detail and sort of investor insight do they need to provide on the mix of customers they have, the volatility of that customer base, all of that. So this will give people across corporate America something to think about here, and it gives a potentially new risk to Nvidia that they might have to settle this shareholder lawsuit at some point down the road, guys. We've reached out to Nvidia. We'll bring you their comment as soon as we have it.
Okay, thank you, Eamon.
The narrative unfolds like an engaging financial thriller with Nvidia Corp, led by its visionary CEO Jensen Huang, at its epicenter. In a classic stock market plot twist, the company finds itself accused of allegedly masking the true impact of its cryptocurrency-related sales during the lucrative years of 2017 and 2018. With the cryptocurrency craze taking the world by storm, Nvidia's graphics processing units became the gold picks and shovels of digital miners. Yet, it's a bit like finding out that your fortune teller couldn't really see the future. As profits from Bitcoin and Ethereum mining waned, so did Nvidia's revenue streams, falling short of forecasts and wiping 28% off its stock's value.
If Nvidia stumbles or if Nvidia doesn't do anything, the market as a whole is going to have a problem. Not really. Not really, because that stock hasn't done anything. Certainly not month to date. It's the laggard since the election, and these other stocks have picked up the slack. So maybe those calls were not correct. Does it matter, though, at some point if Nvidia doesn't work, given the size of the stock? I mean, we're talking about Apple near $4 trillion. So Nvidia is not even the largest market cap stock in the market anymore. It was for about a hot minute, but that's about it.
Well, you know we own that, Scott. We bought it when it got a little cheap here midway through the summer, and you know, occasionally these names are going to give you opportunities. So getting back to your point, are we buying the Mag 7 or not? I think you got to be selective. And when you look at the Mag 7, you have names like Google, which was a laggard year to date until here recently. But if you just look at the fundamentals of a business like that, its PE's trading at 20 times, right in line with its history. It's the cheapest of all its Mag 7 peers. Profitability is among the highest, 2 times the sector average that it competes in. High capital efficiency, 3 times the sector average. And they're starting to see a return on AI. So while we own all these, it's the when matters of how you buy them.
Interestingly, this isn't Nvidia's first tango with financial controversies linked to cryptocurrencies. Without conceding guilt, they settled with U.S. regulators for $5.5 million in 2022 for similar disclosure discrepancies. Even President Biden, throwing his hat in the ring, showed support for the shareholders. The stakes are high, and the Supreme Court's succinct order to let the lower court's ruling stand only intensifies the situation. Despite the legal storm, Nvidia has ridden a wave of success, attributed largely to today's artificial intelligence boom, rocketing its stock value to a stunning 174% year-to-date. For those keeping tabs on the tech and finance dashboard, Nvidia's tale is not just about courtroom dramas, but an ongoing saga that reflects the volatile yet rewarding intersection of technology and market forces. The Supreme Court's decision brings numerous conversations to the forefront, from corporate accountability and investor rights to the future trajectory of cryptocurrency impacts on traditional market arenas. With a historical 2,436% rise over the past 5 years versus Bitcoin's 1,292%, Nvidia remains a heavyweight contender in this digital revolution. But before going any further, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
If Nvidia breaks, it will take the rest of the market down with it. That's one of the problems when you have a name that's so highly concentrated and highly owned. But right now, we would be buying this dip in Nvidia, but being a very short leash if it does continue weakness. But you can't have Nvidia not rally and have the market rally. That, in our opinion, I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay, looking at the movers, let's start with Nvidia.
Some news out of the Supreme Court on Nvidia. So Nvidia was sued by shareholders for misrepresenting their reliance on cryptocurrency mining. Nvidia appealed that. The Supreme Court today, in a one-sentence opinion, said the case should not have been taken up, but the practical effect of that decision and their wording means it can proceed.
That's a little complicated, isn't it?
You think?
I do, and Nvidia's up. Okay.
As the dust settles on this riveting legal episode, the central question remains: is Nvidia still a worthy contender for your investment portfolio? Given their impressive stock surge buoyed by the AI boom, the current trajectory for Nvidia appears promising. Analysts foresee continuous growth as the company harnesses artificial intelligence's potential and innovation in the realm of graphics technology. Nvidia's stock prowess is reflected in a more than 2.5% rise recently, closing at $138.45. For those eager to make sound investments, it's like betting on a horse that keeps winning despite hitting a temporary bump in the racetrack. The unfolding narrative of Nvidia presents not just a glimpse into high-stakes market maneuvers, but also into the potent synergy of technology and investment foresight. As observers and potential investors, what's your take on Nvidia's roller coaster ride through tech evolution and legal landscapes? Does this saga influence your investing strategies, or do you ride on Nvidia's potential for future tech innovation? The inquiry remains open, inviting thoughtful debate and strategic contemplation. And finally, if you would like to know what companies like Nvidia have been up to these past few days, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. See you there.